Hello, hello, hello. All right, waiting for our first chatter so we can give them credit. Meantime, we are working on alignment today. I have come to the decision, realization, epiphany, whatever you want to call it, that while tactics is the first level, we have basic principles. You have to understand basic principles. Let's go even further. Let's go back. Let's go back to the beginning, as I like to say. Start at the beginning, go back to the beginning. So let me jump to the beginning. And the beginning is where we think about what do you need to know to play? Well, rules and piece values, right? You have to have at least the rules. You have to know the rules of chess. It would be nice to know how the pieces move as part of the rules. Know what all the different checkmate, stalemate, what they mean, what a draw is, who moves first, when you move, how you set up the board. That's all rules. Hey, Ratchet, how are you, my friend? Let me update that real quick. I always like to get that up to date. And you are the same, so it's easy. Thank you. I love it when you're the first one. Yes, enlightenment through alignment. Enlightenment through alignment. That's what I'm seeking today. So I was just talking about that beginners, very beginning beginners need to know the rules, which includes everything, right? As far as how the pieces move, what's a mate, what's a stalemate, what's a draw, who moves first, how you set up the board, dark square in your left-hand corner, things like that. Then I believe you need to know the piece values. Okay. You need to know basic checkmates, because nothing is more frustrating than getting to the... Thank you. Thank you very much. Nothing is more frustrating than getting to the point where you should win a game and you don't know how to checkmate. I've seen people with a queen and a king against a king and didn't know what to do. That's just drives you crazy, right? So you got to know basic checkmates. You have to not give away free candy. Can't give away free candy. It's the biggest thing that I see for beginners. I mean, I'm talking about rank beginners. If they could stop giving away free candy, they jump a few hundred points in rating, they get confidence, they can play chess. If you're giving away free candy left and right, you're not playing chess. So, got to stop giving away free candy. And then we talk about, in the opening phase, we want to develop our pieces, get our king to safety, and then play. I talk about how to respond to an attack the 5 different ways. I talk about analyzing your position. The simple one to that is, if you listen to Rossman, hey there, chess wizard, welcome. It's like saying, where I like to add in, how did the position change, or analyze the position, how did the position change? Then you're looking for checks, captures, attacks, and threats. Oh, okay, well thank you. Thank you for stopping by. Always happy to see you, or hear you, or read you. All right, so then we get to basic tactics. Now, I have alignment in this list before basic tactics. What I have decided, I've come to a decision that for beginners, it is basic tactics will get you very far. Like we said, stop giving away candy, that's a big step. Developing your pieces, king safety, that's a big step. The next big step is tactics, and the next big step is going to be basic endgames, in my mind. That's what's going to get people moving from one level to the next level the fastest, is those things in that order. So to that end, basic tactics to me, right, we're talking pins, skewers, double attacks, double checks, discovered attacks, right? These basic tactics are hard for some people to get down pat. Hey Doro, how you doing? Yes, okay. I've tried the woodpecker method. I couldn't stick with it, but I do agree. I think it's very good for it. I think I should try it again, but I didn't like some of their puzzles, I think was my problem. But I like the concept of doing the repetitions and puzzles after puzzles, the same puzzles. And for me, the puzzles I like, I don't have the book up here, is the 300 Most Important Positions by Lev Albert. I still think that's critical. That's a beautiful book. And if you use the woodpecker method on that book, I think you'd be awesome, right? So use the woodpecker method, but I like that set of problems better. And you have convinced me that I'm going to do that as part of my prep for over-the-board play. So the other day, Ratchet said, well, what are you doing to prepare? I'm going to add that to my list of things to prepare. I'm going to run the woodpecker method, but I'm going to do it on the 300 most important problems so that I get those. I don't care if I memorize them. I want to learn those 300 most important positions that I can get them right every time. That to me is going to be critical. So I'm going to work on that, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So tactics is critical. As I told you guys before, my last big real tournament, the two highest rated players at that tournament were 2100 and high 2000. It wasn't a master level tournament, right? So those two guys said all they studied was tactics. They didn't study openings, they didn't study end games, they didn't study anything. They studied tactics, and they played just modern. Opening wise, they just safe, right? And this was 20 years ago, guys. This isn't like recent. And they just played safe, got all their pieces developed, and then they looked for tactics. That's all they did. Hey, Arna, I am fine. How are you? Let me shout out. We haven't seen you in a while. There you go. So, to get basic tactics for beginners, besides understanding pins and skewers, understanding them is fine, but then you have to apply them. And I have come to the decision or realization that the core element to most of the tactics that beginners will get will be alignment. All right? Oh, cool. Hopefully you're doing well. Exams are ready? Didn't school just start? Oh my gosh. So we want to seek alignment as much as possible as beginners because it's going to lead to finding most of our tactics. Most of our tactics will be found through seeking alignment. All right? That's what the realization I came to. So here's a game I played last night. You also asked me what am I going to do to improve. So one of the things I found was I teach a class. I had 3 of my students, 4 ostensibly, 1 swapped out with another. So I had 3 of my students. Chess Wizard was one of them. Thank you, Chess Wizard. Hey, Bolt, how are you, my friend? I need to give some quick shout outs. So we'll hit up Bolt and we'll hit up Ratchet, of course, our first chatter again. Ratchet wins that like every time almost. All right, so I played this game, and what I found was where I'm usually teaching and I'm thinking, okay, I want to find a way so that they can enjoy the game and learn better, faster, easier from each other. And so what happens is they play 3 against 1. So we made the game a 30-minute plus, I think it was 30 plus 5, a 30 plus 5 game. And the idea was that I put them in a Zoom room so they could talk to each other. They weren't in the room. I just shut off. I couldn't hear them and they couldn't hear me. So I put them into a Zoom room so they can discuss. Now, 30 minutes when you have 3 people discussing the moves, it goes fast. 30 minutes, it might even be, I might have to up that time for them in the future. I might have to make it like 45-minute game. Which is good because a 45-minute game is usually what you're going to be playing long term. Sudaku's my friend. How are you, my friend? And Sudaku's also puts on a really nice I Am Not an I Am tournament. Check that out on Wednesdays. If you're here at this time of day, you should be able to be there at that time of day. But check out Sudaku's I Am Not an I Am tournament. It's a good one. It's a fun one, and he doesn't strictly keep it to not I Ams though. You know, I'm not an I Am tournament, but he has I Ams that occasionally show up and play. So I don't know about that, but you know, hey, I don't know. Anyway, you're welcome, my friend. You're welcome. De nada, mi amigo. They can't win. He won't let them win. It's whoever comes in second. I like that idea. That'll work. Anyway, so I played this game. Lemurf is the name we picked, the player we picked. But we did a casual game. Why? Because it's 3 against 1. So you got to make it casual for rules. And I played them 3 against 1 where they get to talk amongst themselves. Now, I think that's good for them. I think that helps them see how each other thinks. I think that's immensely valuable to see how other people think. I do it with Sudakus when we do our hand and brain, cabeza y mano, and I do it with Jordan when we either working together or we've done hand and brain with him. I do it with my daughter, but I still can't figure out how she thinks. But with Jordan and Sudokus, we do this, and I get to hear how they think, they get to hear how I think, because the critical part about doing hand to brain is you need to analyze the game afterwards. Otherwise, you wasted your time. I mean, you had fun, but you didn't learn. So to learn, you need to analyze the game afterwards and discuss what you were thinking. Okay? So hand to brain is great for that, and so is collaboration. So 3 people working together, deciding on how to play the game, allows you this opportunity to learn and hear how each other thinks. All right. Yes. Yeah, I'll try that, Bolt. I have 2. But only one plays chess right now. All right, so this is a game we played, and I normally play the French. I am definitely looking forward to, at some point, toying with the Caro-Kann. Why? Because in my mind, the Caro-Kann gives me a French-type setup where I get to get the bishop out first. A lot of times I'll get the bishop out first. So I'm playing with the idea of doing a Caro with a transition to a French with a good bishop, right? Where I don't lock my bishop in. It's for the future. Join the trend. But right now I'm a French player. So I thought about playing the French against my students, but I decided didn't want to play the French. I wanted to play as solid a game, just not solid, but equal, give them chances to be aggressive. I wanted them to and I didn't want to put them in a disadvantage where they go, oh, he's playing the French, I don't know the French, and you know the French, well, you don't like the French. All right, so you have a doubt about what, my friend? All right, so there you go. I play back e5, I let them pick the opening, and we started here. We end up in the Italian game, no problem here. They felt comfortable, this is what they played, they know it. I like the Italian game. I'm going to be teaching my students this next semester. No Stafford, sorry. I didn't want to play trappy. I didn't want to play tricky. I didn't want to play gambits. I guess I should have explained. So, while I thought this would be better for my students, I thought this would help my students, I also thought it would help me, because I would be playing against 3 people, which means I can't try for tricky, trappy things. Why? Because between the 3 of them, they're going to see the traps. They're going to see the tricks, right? So I've always been told, and I preach it too. I don't preach it that much, but I preach it too, that you don't want to play for tricks and traps unless you still end up with a better position. But a lot of times we go, oh, I'm going to play this, and if they make one of these, there's 4 moves. And if they make 3 out of those 4 moves, I win easy. But if they make the 4th move, I'm losing. Right? So if you have 3 moves out of 4 that are winning, but 1 is losing, you don't want to do that trap. Not in over the board, not in real chess, not in slow chess. You do not want to do that move. But if you tell me 3 out of the 4 are winning for me, that they can make, and the 4th move, like these 3 are winning quickly, power, destroy. And the 4th move, I still have an advantage. Then I say go for it, right? Because then you still, even if they find the best move, you're still winning. Maybe not as easily, but that's worth it. But if you tell me that even if you tell me there's 3 bad moves and 1 good move that will put them ahead if they find it, you don't want to do it. Because you have to assume your opponent will find that 1 move. Same way when your opponent makes a move and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose this game, what do I do? You're going to find the only move out of it. If there's only one way to get out of it, you're going to take your time and you're going to find it. Alright, so there you go. Hey Jams, how are you, my friend? Welcome, welcome. Alright, so that said, I cannot, when I'm playing the 3 of them and I'm trying to get serious again, right? I'm trying to do well. I want to play solid chess, so I'm not playing anything tricky or trappy. I debated allowing the fried liver, but I said, you know what? I'm not even going to do that. I know where that goes. I know the line I would play very easily. But I said, nope, I'm going to just play. We're just going to play with this. We're going to go equal. And we get into a totally symmetrical position at this point. And here we are. Still totally symmetrical. And of course we break symmetry. Well, not of course, but I'm not about to go here and have him get here first and then cause issues. So I put the question to the bishop. Bishop backs up, and now we have decisions to be made, right? All right. Your sir? You like the fried liver? Hola, bizarra bra. Hola. White is boring. Okay, Ratchet, you with your boring. So, aburrido. Hey, Bizarre Bra, how are you? Welcome to the stream. Guys, a nice turnout so far. So yeah, we're into a Yoko Pianissimo. Beats me. Canal variation. Okay. Basically, we're still in a lot of book. All right. Moving along, he puts the question to my bishop. So we're back to basically where we could be totally symmetrical. And I took my time. I thought my way through it. And I said I could go here. But then when he pushes here, I get to go here. And then the knight still gets in because guess what? I don't have the pawn push that was the plan if this knight came in. So I no longer have the pawn push. So I said, no way. Take it, huh? So actually, after the game, I did think about taking as a possibility because we could end up here, and now I still have this when I want it. I was looking at I didn't care if he took this way. I was going to castle queenside. So this is my, yes, definitely. This is what I would probably play today. I'm glad you love it, my friend. I would probably play that today. But during the game, I did not play that. I played this, thinking that if he takes, I'll take back, I'll keep him out of here. I still was ready. I was still planning on castling queenside, so I was okay with this one. So it's about this time, by the way, that I realized, actually it's later. It's like multiple moves later. I took notes during play, so I could think out loud and type them up, and so I can go back and look at how I was thinking, because I need to fix my thinking. I say this to my students, especially the Murph, a lot of times, that his thinking is broken. So he'll tell me things like, well, I took that because I don't like that piece. And I go, well, no, that's broken thinking. We don't take pieces because we don't like a piece. That isn't a good reason to take a piece, because I don't like knights. That's not a good reason. Yeah. So I tell him he has broken thinking, and we try to work with him to adjust or improve his thinking. And that way I think he plays better. Okay, that's a good one. We can definitely allow that. Yes, but I don't mind it. I'm with you. I agree. Totally bizarre. It's going to deny this square. So anyway, but yes. So this would have been, so what I didn't do, and I didn't do until around move 17, was what I preached to you guys, that I still need to get my act together, which if we go back and look at this one more time, because I'm still not doing it, is I need to find 3 candidate moves, guys. I'm not doing that myself. And I was playing, I was looking, I was analyzing, I was thinking, I was taking my time, but what I wasn't doing, I wasn't finding 3 candidate moves. Now, granted, I didn't look for checks, captures, and attacks, because I looked at captures, but there were no checks yet, right? Okay, so double E pawn is good, yes. Oh, it's great. Oh, even better than good, it's great. All right, so I decided to come back here. But if I were looking for 3 candidate moves at the time, I could have said 1, 2, or 3. Now, I don't like this move because of the double attack here, which still is playable, but not comfortable, right? I mean, I could have ended up taking back with the pawn, and where normally I would have had double pawns, I don't mind. The bishop would have been here. Everything would have been clogged up. I could have probably gotten the castle shortly thereafter. Okay. All right. Yeah, don't want double F pawns. No, don't like double F pawns. Yep. All right. So I decided on here. But again, I didn't come up with 3 candidate moves, but I did look at this move. I did look at this move. I didn't look at this move only because I wanted to keep the bishop. Don't ask me why. I should have looked at this move harder, but I didn't. Okay? All right. My opponents did not take, which I would have been fine with. Did not plop anything in here, which I would have been fine with. Instead, they went this route. And I thought, not too hard, not too long. Again, candidate moves, no. I was not doing candidate moves yet. And I just decided, you know what, we're going to put the question of the bishop. And if they trade, that's fine because I'm taking back towards the center. So I like having this cluster growing towards my center. I'm okay with that. I'm just okay with that. All right, so we're pressing on. And this move, wasn't sure. Didn't know what they were doing for sure. I thought maybe they were, if I push here, they have 3 pieces and they'd be sacking a minor piece for 2 pawns and an attack. So I thought, you know, they're looking to sack, and they're looking to sack. Otherwise, they might be thinking queenside castle. If they do queenside castle, I figured that wasn't a good idea, right? I didn't think that was a good idea. What are you guys talking about over there? Rather than the G pawn, oh yeah, is there anything about pawn? Okay, so I took this opportunity to grab that open, semi-open file right away, hit the pawn that's not protected, and say, go ahead, feel free to castle over here because we're coming for you if you want to do that. So it wasn't so much to discourage queenside castling because I was okay if they did, but I thought with tempo, I'd tack a pawn. So this is called, right, using tempo or gaining tempo. So I got to move, develop a piece while attacking, taking over a semi-open file for myself. So for me, this was gaining a tempo. They made a good move, right, which attacks and attacks and protects and attacks the bishop. Now, big decision. And this is where I really did take a lot of time to decide. And while I wasn't thinking consciously of 3 candidate moves, this time I actually did. I thought of bishop here, I thought of bishop here, and I thought of bishop here. Okay? No, it doesn't win a queen. Pawn just pushes. Pawn just pushes. All right. So no free candy. No, there's no free candy. So I did contemplate, I did look over, if I go here, pawn goes here, I'd go here, chances are we'd get this, and he'd get here. And then he could trade off my nice bishop. I don't want to take with the rook anymore because everything's coming at me and my rook would be poorly placed. So I'd take with the pawn, and this is what we would look like. It's not exciting to me, it doesn't feel good to me. I'm not thinking through all of this to see if it's like genius or not. But yeah, I'm not crazy about it. All right? I'm not crazy about it. So my other option at this point, that was one option. The other option was to move here. And again, if he takes, I could take with the rook, still hitting and staying in the semi-open file, maybe even trying to get more pieces over here. But, you know, he might just push, stymieing my white bishop, stymieing my rook, and he's solid. And again, my rook is not going to be connected with my other rook anytime soon. My rook is poorly placed, and if I take back with the pawn, I'm back into this situation where, yes, I fixed my double pawn, but we're in a totally equal game, and I'm as Ratch would say, I'd be bored. I have 4 pawns in a line. Well, I have 8 pawns in a line when I start the game, so I should win to start. Yeah, it's not the 6th rank though; it's the 3rd rank. Bolt, it's my 3rd rank. Oh, shogi, oh, cool. I play Go. I haven't played shogi. All right, so that gave me 1, 2, and 3, and I decided on the 3rd choice, partly because of those 2. I don't like the results of either of the other 2, right? So it was easier to decide. I don't like the results of the other 2. By the way, I never even worried about contemplating giving it up for this night, take back, and then doubled pawns and didn't like it. Anyway, And he didn't have to. He could go here, he could still just push, and then I'm still backing out. And so I didn't want to help these pawns advance. Did not want to help the pawns advance. So I opted for this one, and the main reason was that I love this long diagonal. It's why you put the bishop on c5. They put their bishop on c4, hitting the nice long diagonal, and my bishop said get out. And so they ended up trading it. Well, I get to keep this nice long diagonal, so I want to keep it. Oh, did you? All right. All right. Order win in Shoji. Okay, yeah. Ultra, I mean, you get almost anything in Ultra. I don't like Ultra, I don't like Bullet, but anyway. All right, so I get to keep this bishop here. I did look at that, you know, this pawn is hard to protect, but I do have ways. I mean, the bishop can come back, the queen can come over. If the queen comes over, then I have a battery hitting here. So I was thinking that, you know, if he came after my pawn, I was going to go here with my queen so that I have sacrificial opportunities while still protecting the pawn. That's what I was thinking. All right. Now, I open up the position because he castled. So Sudakus, I think you'd be proud of me. He castled. So I said, time to pawn storm on this side. Let's see if we can break up his position. And he did what the computer says should be done, is this move. Now, I had to, and by the way, I did take time, and again, I don't think I did 3 candidate moves, but maybe I'm doing it subconsciously, because I know I looked at this, because I didn't care if he doubled up my pawns and give me an open file, but I thought about this, I thought about this, I thought about this, and I don't believe, but I might have even thought about that, so that when I push, I have another piece protecting it. I think I thought about all those, but I didn't spend a lot of time thinking about them. I did not look too hard. Hey TK! How are you, my friend? So we're talking about finding alignment, but first I'm just going over this game, a training game that turned out to be a training game for my students as well as for me. What doesn't work at classical time control? What doesn't work at classical time control? Oh, you're back to talking about G4? Oh, okay. Yes. Well, that's what we did. But yes. All right, you guys are, you're going really someplace. Okay, all right, so we pushed the pawn. They made the move that the computer actually liked. And here, I debated pushing or knight move. So here's again where I only did 2 candidates. I didn't come up with 3 candidates. I wanted to push this pawn because anytime you can attack a piece and a pawn, forking a piece and a pawn, even if it's not a win, piece and a pawn, anytime you can do that, you are assured that you get to trade this pawn. So either the pawn has to take you, or whatever he does, you're going to get to take the pawn. Now, there's a circumstance where that isn't true, if the knight can move and attack something, or if it's a bishop, it can move and attack something, so I get that. But right now, this would assure... Hey Flavio, how are you, my friend? There you go. So, welcome Flavio, I'm glad you can make it. So, this move forces that I'm going to get this trade, and either I take, which I really like, right, because then I could win a pawn, and if he takes, I get my bishop here, and I'm starting to crack open his position so that we can get an attack going. So that was one thought. The other thought was knight to here first, right? Knight to here first. Why? Because the bishop has no place to go. And he can't let me take the bishop because he'd be in check. So I thought, well, if I go here first, the bishop has to back up. I still get this move in. I still get this move in. The knight's up here. I'm being more dynamic. All right? Okay. But I missed the fact that he could come here with his king. He could come here with his king. And now if I take, he can't take back with the pawn. There's no check anymore, right? So I missed the fact that he could go here, and then when he goes, if I go here, he still doesn't have to take. Remember this trade I thought was forced. He can actually come here and attack my king. I mean my queen. And then depending on how I stop that, I can move out of the way. I can move the pawn up. Then he can look at taking, and we have a whole different game, guys. Whole different game than the other way around. So it's definitely playable, but not as good as just going immediate. So bizarre. I might have liked it also. Knight to h5 first. It is what I did in the game, but this is, per the computer, the better move, and why it doesn't give them time to do this. So this would have been the better move, and it's a learning moment. It's a puzzle moment for me. This is a puzzle-worthy position right here to remember that and this is the closed mind thinking that I do sometimes. I'm thinking I'm attacking, and that he's got to move. He's got to move because he can't let me take because of the check. Forgetting that he can move something else to get out of the check and just protect it. He does not have to move the bishop, but I was thinking he did. All right, knight to h5, and then you mean f5? Do you mean f5? So yeah, if he goes here and then do f5, is that what you're saying? Oh, knight to f4. Yes, knight to f4 is playable too, but it's per the computer, it's not as good, and I'm feeling it that it's not as good. So yeah, I mean actually, and he doesn't have to take again, right? I don't know what the computer would say to do in this part because I'm not using the computer right now. But yeah, so it's not the best. Best is per the computer is this one. We went over. Chess Wizard's is a good guy. He always checks the computer for me because you know me, I don't like to look at it too much. All right, how do we get that move in there? Okay, so yep, this move falls into this problem. Okay, so anyway, that's not what happened in the game. In the game, I did go after the bishop. They did not find this move, I believe. No, they did not find that move, and they did play bishop to h2. So you can do the, okay, I dodged that bullet. It's not really a bullet. They would have had a better position. I would have been okay. They would have been okay. It would have been an interesting game. I definitely was thinking about knight to f5, f4, not only in that situation, but I didn't think about this situation at all. Now, if they had moved it, I think I definitely would have looked at it. And the reason I think I would have looked at it is that I was thinking about it at many times, right? Even here, I was thinking about here. Even here, I was thinking, I could put my knight there. I mean, they can't push the pawn to get rid of me, right? I could do that. So I was even thinking about it at this stage. So I think I would have probably thought about it if they had moved the king up. But I did look at this. I actually looked at this too. I thought this would be interesting. Just like open it up, right? Get rid of their center. Yeah, but my king's in the center. My king's in the center, so I wasn't excited about that. So instead I did the push, which was my other main move. G4, yes, ratchet G4. And so he has to take. We know that. If he moves the knight, we could go here, and you're absolutely correct. We're going to win the bishop for the pawn. So beautiful, right? It's not. Now, normally you think, okay, if he goes here, then you get to take, and you could take, and then he pushed though, right? He doesn't take back. He pushes. But yes, better would just be, here would be beautiful move, beautiful find. You get the bishop. Get the bishop. All right, so here he took back, and now we have this, what we were thinking of in this position. All right, he decides to back out because I was thinking at the time he's either going to have to protect, and to protect, because he can't go here, remember, that nice long bishop is still working hard. So I'm thinking to protect, he has to actually put himself into a pin, So I'm okay with that. I'm liking that feeling because then I don't know what I was going to do next. But I was happy enough to think, hey, if you've got a self-pin, because, yeah, I'm happy. Because then I'm going to move the rook over. I might even bring the queen up because I can still open up. It's just, I'm thinking my game is looking good if he has to self-pin. So the other option to keep from doubling up these pawns and exposing the king badly is for him to move the knight. And he had no place to move the knight except for here. So he did. So I'm again happy. Bring the queen over. Now, maybe the rook would have been a better move, but I didn't like dropping the pawn. And so I just thought, why am I going to do that? I can do this first. He can't push the pawn. We just take. Bishop takes, queen takes, check, and mate is pending. So he can't push the pawn. He can't put the bishop in front, right? And we're just starting to put pressure. We're just putting pressure, and the rook move is soon to come, and the knight move could come here. Pressure's coming. All right, so Ratchet preferred queen to f6. You have to check. I think the computer actually agreed with me on this one. I think Chess Wizard said, I only made one bad move and it's coming up. Bishop to h3. After the queen is there, maybe? But do you mean right away? I think you mean after the queen is there, but let's see. So the queen went here, and then he did a real nice job. He moved this king out of attack. He just said, I'm going to get out of this pin, but I love that pin. Wasn't it beautiful? That bishop did so much work, and it's over here on the side of the board doing great work, while this knight is on the side of the board doing nothing. So he's down a piece in reality, and I have 3 of my pieces in the game active doing work. So I have 3 pieces attacking, doing work. I'm feeling good. Yeah, sad there's no knight to g3. Yeah, it won't work. I know. I contemplated things like taking, but then I thought, if he takes back with the rook, then you could get this check in, but then he just moves back. Also, of course, if bishop takes, so again, I think I was doing 3 candidate moves, but I just don't think I was consciously doing it. I thought, well, no, he could just take back with the queen, and then if I go here, he just takes back with the queen, and it's all lost. Yeah, sad though, sad. Bishop to h3 is strong, it would seem. Queen to h4 and bishop, yes. So right now, but he moved out of the way. So bishop to h3 does look good, but he moved out of the way, so it's not as good anymore. But so now I'm thinking I need to right? But again, I don't want to give up this pawn. This pawn is so annoying. I don't want to give up anything. I don't want to give up that pawn. Yes, I agree, Ratchet. So yeah, I'm probably not doing candidate moves. But at move 17, I think it was here when I actually did start doing candidate moves. I did actually start doing candidate moves. Yeah, knight to here is interesting. Well, now that he's put his king here, the knight is interesting because he can't take with the bishop. So that is a nicety. And then if he pushes, what is your thought? So you like knight to g3 wins the which queen? My queen? Yes. I can move the rook. Queen can't take the pawn. Because of the discovered check. Sweet. Nice. Excellent. I didn't even see that. I need to document that because that was nice. That is sweet. Nice job, Bazaar. I didn't recognize it. So here's what's interesting, though. Is that true? Yes, it is. Because here he has to take this way, and you're right. And we get out of the pawn is no longer attacking. We'd win the queen. Poison candy. Nice job. Nice job, Bazaar. Nice job. Like it. All right. So yes. So rook to here is the move I feel I should have made. I will agree 100%. I should have made that move. Candidate move was here. I did look at this, but I did not see far enough at this point. Sorry, I did not see far enough. So I did look at it as a candidate move, but I did not look far enough. I blew it. I mean, I think that would have been a much better move. Not just because it's a trap that he might fall for, because again, I don't want to play trappy, but I think it's just a solid move. Anyway, I decided to go here because, you know what? I was like, if you trade, I've got this file still. I've still got this. This knight is out of the game. My king doesn't matter if it's stuck in the center because the queens are off the board. No, this is not the bad move. This is not the bad move. The computer says this move is fine. This move is fine. Yes, looking for checks. Yes, his queen is his only active piece. And so if I trade it off, my rook is still going to look active. My bishop, my knight, I'm still happy. I'm still happy. Oh, really, Ratchet? That's fine. I mean, after the fact, what Bazaar showed me, I think I would have done this personally. I think I would have done this personally. All right, but anyway, and he decided that he did not want to do that. He did not want to trade, but again, he had no squares to go to. So I knew if he didn't take the trade, the only other things he could do is like maybe this, which would not be, I didn't think, good for him. And or I thought he might go for this. So this is good, right? Attack here. What I missed was that he's also attacking this pawn. Because my plan had been, if he goes here, is I'm gonna let him take this pawn, and when he does, I'll protect the bishop this way. I didn't care. Or I think I was going to go here first, and if he took, then I would go here to protect this pawn, and everything would be protected. That was my thought. But when he moved here, I realized, oops, I missed this. Yeah, it's not really annoying though, because again, what do, right? When you're forced up, your back is up against the wall, I said you're going to find the right moves. And so I easily found the right move. I did not, it took me, seriously, it took me very little time. I was 15:23 with a 5-second increment. It took me a minute. Which, by the way, is not a lot of time because I was taking my time. I was making notes. I was typing in between moves. So I like this move a lot. It protects both pawns. I'm okay with him taking here. My rook will go here, and I'll have a discovered attack at some point, and life is good. It's totally irrelevant. He can have the a-pawn. This knight was out of the game. Now the queen is his only active piece is now out of the game. All right, so he takes the pawn. I set him up, and he doesn't like the discovered attack enough that he comes back, but he finds a nice way to keep his queen active. His queen is still active. And I keep saying he, it's three of them. They find the f-pawn to attack. Right? So now it's not so much a way, I mean, they grab the pawn, and now they're attacking the f-pawn. The knight is dubious, but the queen is at the moment holding. So all is good, right? He's got a nice attack. All right, so I got to find a move here, guys. Again, forced, right? Got to find a move. So one idea was protect with the rook. That was a candidate move. Protect with the rook was a candidate move. Protect with the rook, queen was a candidate move. Can protect this way also, can also protect this way. But I don't want to leave, I want my queen on this file. I do want this queen on this file. The bishop was another candidate move and chases the queen. But the queen, right? I chased the queen. Now, I could have went here. So this is interesting. I did not, and I'll show you why I chose a different move first. But this is interesting because he can make a lot of mistakes. Right? This looks like you win the knight. But I mean, he can go here. You could go here, and he can't take because you lose the queen. And he's going to lose the knight, I think, right? Oh, no, he doesn't lose the knight. Okay, he doesn't lose the knight. He doesn't lose the knight, guys. Okay, so that, but I mean, I didn't even look that deep. I didn't even bother to look that deep. Why didn't I look that deep? Because I thought, you know what? Queen here protects. I also want this, because I think I'm going to win a rook. By the way, I saw the win of the rook back here. I said, if he moves his queen, I can get my bishop in here and win the rook. So back here, that was my plan. So when all this happened, I'm still thinking that's my plan, and I'm like, dag, if I go here, I no longer can win the rook. So I chose to use the queen, protects, stays on the file, and I still have this opportunity coming up. Queen takes c7. Oh yeah, we didn't allow that. Oh, we definitely wasn't allowing that. No, we weren't allowing that. All right. So I need rooks. Anyway, so yeah, went here. Why? So that I still have this, can win this. And I can win this because if he moves over, the bishop takes and wins it. If he, whatever else he does, I win the exchange at least. All right. So my opponent said, I didn't like this move for them personally because I thought it took away a square for the queen. Now that was a good square, but it took away a square for the queen, and it did nothing to better him. And so both of them are kind of stagnant. And the bottom line is, I get this move in. So I get the move in. And again, I thought the knight has no squares to go to because I still win the exchange. I still win the exchange. That's all I was thinking. I win the exchange. If he moves here, I get to take here, opening up his king more, still going to win the exchange. I agree. I might not want to trade it. I might not want to trade it for it. I might not. And I might not have. I might have put the rook here first and see what else happens. Yes. So yeah, bishop to e7 now. All right. So guys, they said, okay, I saw bishop takes here. If pawn takes, knight takes, I lose the game to the check. So I had to take a moment. I said, okay, bishop takes, I'm not taking back. If bishop takes, I'm not taking back. So if I take here, by the way, I also notice I'm threatening mate. So with this move, I'm threatening mate. He can throw in the check, but that doesn't work for him. I just take back, and he doesn't even have a check on my king. So that doesn't work. So I get to take first with check. He can't even get this one. I mean, I'm threatening mate. He can't take this one. So I thought, okay, so I got that. I could come here and threaten mate, but I have an exchange right now. So, right, that was my thoughts. What do you guys think? What do you guys think I should do here? I did not consider queen to f6 at all. And I guess you're thinking that after queen f6, I'm threatening to take and take. I guess that's what you're considering. Yeah, I didn't consider it, Bazaar.
That's a great thought.
Great thought, Bazaar. Great thought. Knight to f4. Nice thoughts. Yes, threatens mates. Threatens mates. Yeah, knight to f4 is nice too. And he takes, so maybe you take. Okay. What else? Anything else? Swapping moves. Yes, instead of here first and then here. How about taking here first? Okay. No, taking the rook doesn't lose immediately. He takes back, which is what happened in the game, and this is my only blunder. I have inaccuracies, but this is my only blunder. My only mistake or blunder per Chess Wizard. So I didn't make any of the blunders, and I didn't even make any mistakes. I only had inaccuracies. So pretty well played game, I guess. But yeah, this is the only mistake. And why? Because I'm not a computer. I'm not a computer, guys. By the way, this is still winning. It's like 1.3 ahead. It's still winning. And you're right, Bazaar. That's why it's a mistake. Taking the knight was stronger. That's crazy. Okay? And it's something I want to learn. I want to be able to see the fact that this king is in dire straits, right? He has no protection around him. He has no real protection. The computer says this is up by like 3-4 points or something, while the other way I was only up 1. So taking the exchange, I'm only up 1 point. Taking the knight, doubling the pawns, opening the king, puts me up 3 points. Yeah, it's amazing. So, but finding this, now I thought about it. I actually did. I said, if I take, he can't do anything over here because I'm threatening mate. I mean, he could do this first, but okay. But the point is he can't do anything else. So I could take safely. He has to take back, and I'm good to go because I had a mate threat. And then so afterwards, I thought, hey, I go here, and I threaten mate. He's got a cover, and I'm just starting to, I figure I was dominating, right? I thought it was clearly winning. And in my small brain, I was clearly winning, I was winning, and I was able to win. But the computer says, no, this is much better. You actually go here. Why do you, and you don't do it here. You don't do it here. Why? Because you don't want to, I guess you don't want things like this, but you need to take over the open file. So this is what I saw when I thought about taking the knight. I did look at taking the knight, and I saw this far. And all I decided was, and I got to run away. My queen runs away. So I didn't like it. I didn't do anything. I didn't pick it because I thought I was losing the file. I lost the open file. At least I don't have it but it's not dominating. And I have to run away. My pawn is still under attack. So I only have 2 squares to really go to. And I don't want to trade queens now. So yeah, I thought I was doing bad. I thought this would be bad. So I didn't look further. I saw this and I stopped looking. Stop looking. Computer says you stop too soon, buddy. You go right here and game over. Game over, like mate in 7. Mate in 7. So you guys, if you want to look at it, you can. You can look at different options, but they said the computer says mate in 7. I said, well, what happens if he pushes pawn, right? That's what I was thinking you would do. You take with the knight. And this is what I'm showing you. This is the moves the computer said you have to do. This is the moves the computer says you have to do, and you still get mated in like the game is still a mate in 7 or something. Yeah, it's over. So yeah, I have a hard time seeing that. Now I like to learn that. I like to learn the fact if I have a king like this, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to hold this file. Yes, I do have the other rook. So I'm going to hold this file and keep that king over there, and then and his queen is disconnected. It's beautiful, right? Okay. Maybe I'll find that in the future. Maybe, no, computer. Yeah, the white pieces were sacrificing per the computer. All right, so yes, you have to do the rook to g8 first. Definitely. Okay, so that's what the computer said. I blundered. Flat out, didn't say this was a mistake. I'm still winning. I'm still up, but I blundered because I had a forced win or something. I don't know. So anyway, we went this route. And there's your knight move. Now I did think about rook first, but I think I like the knight. Okay, I'm trying to remember why I wanted the knight move first. There was reasons. There were definite reasons. So I want the knight move first. Again, threatening mate. Thought he would take. And I'm like, okay, now I have this, and I have this, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Well, I don't know. That was based on the computer. So, right? You're thinking that? Yeah, that's what the computer said. And maybe the problem is that? I don't know. I didn't look deep. That might be the problem though, because now I have to. And granted, I can move here, but I gotta attack that. right? But let's say we do that. I mean, he might get this, and this might be good enough to hold. I don't know. Maybe not, maybe so. I don't know. I don't know. Bishop takes pawn. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Well, let's say he goes here. I'm thinking you go here for the still mate, right? Computer didn't like it. I don't know why the computer didn't pick it. But so then it just makes me wonder, like, what are we missing? Is it this? Blocking the queen, because we know that's paramount. And the bishop taking isn't a big deal anymore. And the knight doesn't even have an attack on the rook that I put here. Maybe this is the better defense? Yeah, I don't know. I agree with you. I'm curious too. I'm curious too. But yeah, and I probably would have seen this move before I saw that move. But anyway, okay. So again, you remember the knight move over here, protecting the pawn and attacking my bishop, and now we have a knight move over here, protecting a pawn, attacking the queen. Right? It's just symmetrical ideas. I thought it was kind of aesthetically pleasing, the fact that this idea came up more than once. And so both knights are on the rim, as far apart as you can get. These knights are on the rim on both sides of the board. Interesting. Yes, they're dim, and they're and double dim. It's like double dim headlights here. Yes, very good, Bizarre. You found what I found. So I needed to still protect the pawn. And so again, do we go here? Do we go here? Do we go here? Do we go here? So, we had possible moves. I got rid of that one right away because I didn't want to trade queens. Even though I'm up the exchange, I don't want to change queens because I still feel like I have an attack. Even up the exchange. Didn't want to do this one because it allowed things like here. And I didn't want to look at that. I thought that was a beautiful place for that knight. Right? I mean, I have no pawns to chase him away. I did not want his knight to be a strong piece when I just won the exchange. Right? So I didn't like that. Didn't like this for the same reason. It entices the knight to come here. So I got down to one good move. I mean, I looked at candidates, but none of the candidates were good moves. I liked it because it pinned the knight, so now the knight can't come here. And if he puts his queen back here, I'm happy to get the pin to work again. Yes, carnage. So we did that. Queen h5. He pushed his pawn. Let's see if you guys can find the next moves. And we don't want to take, right? We can't take because that just gives him two attackers on my pawn, and I'd free the rook. I'd make the rook active. So one of our important principles that I like to focus on, and I try to harp on and try to get people to really think about, is where is it? Stop helping your opponent improve their position, or just don't help your opponent improve their position. Right? Don't help them improve their position is critical. So, knowing that, there's no way I'm going to take and help this rook become better. Yeah, GG, right? Good games, maybe? All right, so rook to g8. Rook to g8. Yes, I did think about bishop takes f2. I thought about bishop takes f2, but there is no counterplay yet because the knight is still pinned. But I did think about bishop takes f2, rook takes, take here, but he still takes with a check. And he could even take with the queen, forcing a queen. I still didn't like it. Didn't like it. Yeah, it didn't work as well. So rook to g8, loving it. He says, I'm going to get one knight back into the game. And it's too slow and it's too late. And this bishop still gets to harass him. Later on, we looked at it. We think d4 probably is the best move. I think d4 is probably the best move. All right. So, now I take g3 with the rook. Okay, now. Rook to, you like rook to g7 and then pile up the next rook? Like that, Bizarre? Bizarre. Tell me what you think about what I did. Instead of I can still double rooks, but I went here. instead of moving up only one, protecting the pawn another time. Yeah, yeah, beautiful. I'm glad you like it. I like it too. Yeah, I like it too. Yes, sir. I still have another rook. And this rook never got to play. This rook just protected the bishop. Never got to play. And we'll see. So, again, now at this point, just full disclosure, here I'm thinking, okay, do I do things like do this? Do I bring this over so that I can take this pawn? Now I can take the pawn. If he takes back, I can take with the rook, because now I have two pieces protecting. So I'm thinking, okay, so I can put the rook here, right? And I'm trying to, so that was one option. Another option was here. And I think I only did two candidates because at this point I was like, this is much more dynamic, much more exciting. I'm going for that one. And I just decided, and I was not a lot of head on the clock, but they only had 5 minutes. I had 7 or 8 minutes basically. And I said to myself also, I'm going to give them pressure so they have to deal with it. The queen is still out of the game. The knight's out of the game. Knight has no place to go to affect this attack. So I'm happy. I was happy, and I thought that was good. All right. So he moves the king, which is one of the ones I had analyzed. Yes, I agree, Bazaar. I'll take it. At least an IM move. How about a national master move? Because that's what I'm shooting for. So what do we do here, guys? Because I think I made more national master moves. Remember, I only had one blunder, and you already saw it. It was because the computer wanted me to find that forced winning situation. Knight is hanging. It sure is. Knight is hanging. So I took the knight. Takes the pawn check. I did see all of this. I did see all of this. King gets away. He has no checks where he can get a check after I run here. So if he checks any place here, I run here, and I can't go there, right? But so any check, I get to run here, protect the pawn, by the way, and he has no more checks. No more checks. So I saw this, and I knew this, and that's why I said, yeah, I'm taking anyway, because my king gets away. So I was proud. I was proud. Now what, guys? Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you for the applause. Thank you. Appreciate the applause. I really do. Thank you. Rook takes, yes. Bazaar, you're on top of this, man. Bazaar, you are sharp. Bazaar, we got to get our training game started, my friend, because you are sharp. And we're not even, well, we are sacrificing the rook. But rook takes g3 check. Where does he go? If he goes here, we take here, and the game should be over shortly. Right? Can't go here, can't go here, can't go here. So his only choice is either take, go here, and lose the rook. And now look who still comes back to play. That bishop, all game has been on the edge of the board doing hard work. Such hard work that the rook had to protect it and keep it on the board. Total monster. And we get mate. So, now this beautiful game, played well by both sides, I thought. Great game. Great instructional game, right? That we had the knight on the rim is bad. We don't want the knights on the rim. We got our queen took a pawn, but then our queen was disconnected from the game. And so we ended up... Thank you, sir. Right, that it's just... The pieces were disconnected. The pieces were not coordinated. They didn't work together well. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So, a lot of things to learn. But this game was played by my students, which are like 14, 15, 1600, and me, and they played this well because they were playing together, helping each other, talking through it. I got to play a solid game, a game worthy of me studying and using. I added it to my lone wolf games, my serious slow games, because it was a 30-minute game. So, yeah, I loved it. Well, actually, this time they weren't. But anyway, but yeah, in general, agreed. Definitely better than one of their heads. Yes, you're right. I'm just being funny. Trying to anyway. Usually not, but trying. All right. So there was that. But what we talked about today was looking for alignment, and we see that there are alignment issues here. Alignment issues. Alignment issues. Oops. Alignment issues. Oops, I meant to go backwards. All the way back here. Alignment issues. The fact that you can fork is, in my mind, an alignment issue because these two pieces are aligned in a way that allows the fork. Ah, all right, Alakine. Whew! Capablanca, Alakine, Morphe, heroes, man, heroes. Heroes. If I could go back in time, I know it's weird, but if I can go back in time, I'd probably want to meet those guys. Yeah. Yeah, some other ones I would want to meet too, but yeah. Yeah, right? Oh my gosh. That would be awesome. They should have like the Olympics, right? They should have an Olympic thing where it's a team, like, but instead of being a team as in they do now, where it's the, Olympic chess where you're just playing one-on-one though, but they should have this collaboration where they have like 3 of your strongest players can play against 3 of their strongest players collaboratively. I think that would be really cool. Oh, definitely didn't sacrifice enough pieces. So again, right, there's alignment issues here. All right, even going back. So they fed off an alignment issue right here. This bishop pin, which is normal. It's an alignment issue, an alignment thing. Again, teaching beginners alignment. Sudokus that hits way too close to my past also. I have someone I would never have, I would have avoided, and my life would have been totally different. But then again, I wouldn't be here today. At least not in this, I don't know, I might not even be here today, but I wouldn't be here in this situation. So I can regret it, but I can't change it. And if I changed it, I don't know where I'd be. I don't know, I could be worse off. You know the things that were bad in your past, but you don't know if you avoided that bad thing, if you might have tripped into something even worse. Right? All right. Yeah, I'm going to ignore you spelling. Don't worry. All right. So even this early, we have alignment. We have alignment. We have not really alignment. No alignment here yet. We have alignment. Not alignment, but this is perpetual. This is alignment for the rest of the game. There should be a way to just leave that arrow for the whole game, because that arrow made a difference the whole game. Right? This is a problem for white the whole game. So again, the computer says you go right away. And we're, again, hard to find computer moves. That bishop taking the knight move, I'd like to know that that's very powerful because the king is stranded, but that's hard for me to find as a human, where taking the rook, winning the exchange was obvious. But this one I think I could find, because I did contemplate pushing here, and the only thing I went with this move was because I did not think about the king coming here. Yeah. In this game, correct. For my students and for myself, correct. I agree. Where did the tables turn? Agreed. Yeah, and I don't know if white was better in I don't know. Per the computer, I guess. I don't know. I didn't use the computer. So if we go back here for lessons-wise, I think white's, right now I'm happy with white. White's playing fine. White's doing well. Oh, okay, slightly. White's doing fine here. I think white's doing fine here. I think this is the first mistake. I think this was the first mistake. This did not bother me. My knight was not active. The bishop, I think, probably should have just backed up to here so that I don't double these pawns. This is probably what I think of as the first mistake, but I don't think the tables, I wouldn't say the tables have turned. I agree, it loses a tempo basically. Allows me to take towards the center, but I think it's a slight maybe edge for black. I don't think it's a big deal at all. I don't even know if it is an edge for black. It still is double pawns and an isolated rook pawn. I still have 2 pawn islands. Yeah, I think I agree. Opening the G file was not, so I don't like this overall. By the way, I don't like taking off the pressure, right? He could have done this. And granted, I'm expanding on the queen side, but, it's also targets for later in a sense. I don't know. But I definitely didn't think taking was great. I didn't think it was that bad. But coming up right now is where I really think there was a mistake. I think this, I knew you meant the B file. I said G file along with you, but I know you meant B. So here's where I think is a large mistake, because the knight, and as we noticed, two things. This diagonal was powerful the whole game for black, and this knight was out of the game the whole game for white. So think about it that way. He took a piece that was well placed, nothing wrong with it, and the piece ended up being a non-player for the whole game, and my bishop got to continue to be a player the whole game. So I think this was, if there's a turning point, this is it. Now, does that mean white should lose this game? Absolutely not. I think white can be in this game easy. I think it's a compilation of small inaccuracies. A compilation of errors leads to a loss. Yes, this bishop is worth tons. So, by the way, I was worried about a sack here, but the computer says it's bad for white. It says it's bad for white. So, one of the things I need to do is look at the computer, because see, Ratchet says sack is bad, but I'm thinking, why don't you sack? Now, the bad part I think is this, but this knight is hard to hold on to after the sack, because I can't get 2 pieces to protect it. I felt worried. So I want to look at the computer and make sure that I see why that sack would lose, so that if I'm black, 1, I don't hesitate to do this, because if the sack is bad, and 2, right, know what to do in the future. So let's say he takes with the knight. I take it, I take back. It's an assumption. Now, how does he take back? Does he take back with the queen? Does he take back with the bishop? If he takes back with the queen, and now he has 2 pieces on my knight, I don't have a way to protect it. So one thing I could do is take here, because I'm up a piece for 2 pawns. So I could give up the exchange, and then he wouldn't be able to get another piece on my knight anytime, and I could just bring my queen up and then maybe get out of the way, right? That was my other thought too. Bizarre, that was my other thought too. Where do you want to move him to? Here or here? Or here? Rook to g8. I actually like, now that you point out rook to g8, I like that better. My thought was the knight moves, queen takes, rook takes, he gets the exchange, but I'm still up a piece. I'm up 2 bishops for a rook. But now I'm liking this because of this. So the queen still has to decide. If the queen takes, we're just going to take back, bishop takes back, but we just gave back a piece, right? So the negative here is we give back a piece. But what does he do? Yeah, so we're gonna grab another pawn. This pawn still can't move anytime soon, so if he pushes, of course, we get the exchange. So that's probably winning. My other thought was to move the knight. I guess I could move it here. No, I didn't. I think I was thinking move it here. But if I move the knight, and if he takes, If he takes, we're okay. And I thought he had to take because otherwise he loses the bishop. Queen takes g8. Queen takes g8. Oh, here? Ah, yeah. And then I still have 2 bishops for a rook. I still end up with 2 bishops for a rook. So it's basically it's the same as we did before. 2 bishops for a rook. If I move the knight, I also get 2 bishops for a rook. And the major difference here is instead of my knight being on g8 and my rook being over here, my rook is over here and my knight is here. Not 2 extra pawns. He has 2 pawns for the exchange. Yeah. So we're actually equal in points. But I like that. But yeah, then the queen just takes. You're right, and that isn't as good because the threats are. We still have beautiful bishops. Anyway. So and then what happens if he takes with the bishop? So like, what if this happens? I guess I could just come right after the bishop right away, because if the bishop moves, then we get to take that pawn, and I guess I'm feeling good. Correct? White is up. Where's white up? I have 2 pawns, and I have 2 bishops for a rook. 2 bishops for a rook is 6 against 5. Oh, it's 1 pawn. You're right, 1 point. So I guess he's up points. And you're thinking knight takes back here if here, you're thinking knight takes pawn? I think I still have troubles. Because I can't take. If I take, I lose the knight. If I move the knight, he saves his bishop. Oh, after bishop takes g5? Okay, so if bishop takes g5, knight takes here. Oh, yeah, that looks like fun. That looks like fun. I don't know. And now I'm up a whole piece. Wow. All right, so I feel comfortable now. If that ever comes again, I feel comfortable. I can look this over. Yes, I can find wins because it's still 2 pieces. So good. Thank you. So again, I don't think this move by itself loses the game. I think he still had chances. Obviously, this one we know was better. Here, better would have been king here, but I still feel good for black. I feel black is ahead, but it's not game over. But maybe game over. I mean, he doesn't really have a choice, though. So I think the game fell apart back here. I think it would be fun to play this out at some point, but again, the computer didn't say I made a mistake. The computer said this was fine. I did not make a mistake at this point. But anyway, pretty good, guys. Pretty good. All right. This was a great day. Thank you. Thanks for analyzing the game with me. I enjoyed it immensely. Do you guys have any suggestions about who I should raid? Can you guys find me somebody to raid? Hello. Yeah, can you hold on a sec? Okay, hold on. Let me call you back. Bye. Sorry, neighbor called. Okay, so who'd you guys find that we should raid? Indian Chess Bowl. Okay, now, Bizarre, I will tell you, only Flavio's the only one that when he makes a recommendation, I raid without even checking them out. So, yeah, that's the only one that I will raid automatically. Okay, he's got 5 viewers. Let's go see what he looks like a little bit. Oh, and Noble1. I do listen to you. I do. But when you give me somebody new, Ratchet, I actually take a look to see who they are first, what they do, if they curse on their stream. I do go look first. Flavio's over there. Sai is over there. Half of you guys are already there. And Flavio has approved. I agree. Oh, and he's a Finnish and national master. How many people are watching him right now? How many people are watching him? Who's coach? Oh, 7 are watching him, 8 are watching this one. Well, you guys decide. I do a poll real quick, but just tell me, Nobler One or Indian Chess Bowl. You guys pick. Oh, really? All right. Well, I'm trying to give him lessons, but that's his coach? All right, we'll go with Indian. You got it. All right, guys. Oh, got to give you my wisdom for the day. I keep forgetting. Hey, if it's not Halloween, stop giving away free candy. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Adios.